Here with my The Walking Dead episode review, episode 7, When the Dead Come Knocking. Always remember there will be spoilers of the episode, seeing it says review, so I put in the title and it says spoilers and review, so two hints right there. So if you continue watching this after this little spoiler type of thing, you do not blame me, blame yourself. Um, Remember, spoilers, there will also be comic book spoilers, but I will mention that before I even mention it, so you could skip ahead a little bit. So if you've actually watched the episode or not read the comics, so kind of fending for both the viewers. So remember, if you have not seen the episode yet, leave the video alone until you have very key episode in the next, I would imagine, 8 episodes, and then to season 4. So let's get right into it. First interrogation scene between Meryl and Glenn. They both headbutt each other, showing what the mood's going to be during these interrogation scenes and how they will be handled. Um, you end up going back to the prison. Michonne ends up passing out, and Carl makes the quick decision to save Michonne, and Rick has to step in before something bad happens, which it won't. Um, she's the connection between Woodbury, Glue, the connection between Woodbury and the prison. Um, so yes, that is the what's the right word? The connection. I guess you could say connection. I don't know why I decided to take that one. Then Rick um, starts his own interrogation thing with Michonne. He interrupts because uh, so he finds Caesar, and she finds out Lori died. Um, Rick seems to shun that off. They seem like he's back in his old state. He's put that in the past after he hung up the phone on her, basically. Even though it was sad, he has his grieving has stopped. Now his family is the group, and he's going to protect the group. So Lori dying doesn't phase him. Um, Michonne sees this from the bars. I think that's her breaking point to decide this group, needs to know the information I know. So uh, she she will end up explaining that. But back at Woodbury, Andrea is requested to help. Well, not requested to help, but the governor sets her to Milton uh, to do an experiment. He has got a old dude who had cancer, and they couldn't um, revive him, or I mean, cure him. Not, you can't cure cancer, but I mean, you know what I mean. Regress the cancer, and they couldn't do that. So I'm not sure if he was bitten or if they just let him die. I'm not sure how that worked out, but they are testing on him, and he agreed to it. So the governor asked Andrea to help Milton just in case the experiment goes wrong. Uh, Back at the prison, Michonne gives information, but not the total information. Just pretty much just says there's a town named Woodbury. There's a guy named the governor who's a very personality person who will, you know, go out of his way to kill anybody if it involves saving his group, like Rick would, like he almost did with Michonne. So, they're very similar to the governor and the Rick, but there's differences that will set them apart and the group. Interrogation scene. Glenn tries to pull a trick with Merle, but Merle has the upper hand. Um, Glenn doesn't tell him who has died. I think before or after he ends up telling him that T-Dog didn't make it. So I don't know. I think that's the only person he told died, but he told him Andrea was with the group when um, what was it? Merle knows Andrea is with Woodbury, so leads him to speculate he is lying, which of course he is, because he named everybody in that name list um, that is dead. Rick, well, except for Rick. Rick's the only one dead, and Andrea. But Shane, Dale, and Jim, they're dead. Um, Rick, Dale, and Oscar decide to go save Glenn and Maggie, which, of course, like I said, Rick doesn't want anybody to get hurt in the group anymore after what happened with Lori and T-Dog. He wants to keep no one dies on his hand. Also, it was very key scene here. They named the baby Judith. Um, That's the name of the baby in the comic books, so kind of a comic book favorite, you can say there. They've been, these past, I think since episode 5, have been a very comic book friendly, you can say. They've added a lot of material from the comic book to the show, and I think they will episode I'll talk to you about later. Um, so yeah, they decided to uh, go. I don't know. They were everybody like uh, volunteered to go, and it ended up they never you just never saw the decision. So maybe that didn't really matter, but you find out who goes, and they're pretty much bringing all their manpower that is at the prison at the moment. Um, Back at Woodbury, they're in Mr. Coleman's bed or Milton's lab, whatever you want. He's doing a test where he'll raise his hand if he knows the pitcher or his name, just kind of like a mental uh, image thing. Uh, Milton has this crazy idea that the zombies still have consciousness and they will remember certain stuff, which it was actually pointed out. I'll actually explain this when it comes to the scene where they go back to it. Once again, they show Glenn getting interrogated by Merle. Uh, he ends up bringing the zombie in and letting him go. Uh, Glenn ends up killing the zombie in a very. He fought for his life. This scene kind of just takes him from the Atlanta Glenn to the prison Glenn, the Glenn that will not stop to save Maggie and will, he's changed. He's a killing machine, you could say. He is not the Glenn of Glenn anymore. He's the one that will do the runs. He's the one who can be a leader. He can, lead a group, and he knows how to kill walkers. So he's a very different person, and this scene shows it and shows a complete transformation of how it happened. Because he took a beating at one, and he killed the walker in a very, very cool fashion. I don't know the word, he pretty much was bound up and ended up killing it somehow. Uh, so he's a smarter person now. He's better uh, at tactical, and so like I said, that scene is the transformation of Glenn to the complete transformation to complete it from being like I said, Atlanta Glenn to the prison Glenn, the one that can be a leader, who can be Rick's second-hand man. Um, so Merle is getting fairly pissed off at Glenn, as you can see by that. But next scene, they go back to the lab. Milton, you kind of learn about Milton, why he's doing these experiments, why he's so influenced, but intrigued by trying to find out if they still have a conscience and whatnot. Mr. Coleman ends up dying, but you find out that not Merle, Milton's parents died when he was young, and he was the only child, so he's a very lonely person. A little bit, a little bit you learn about him, but it could be interesting little plot line for him. So you learn a little bit about Melton, which I was hoping for because he's a very interesting character. And I don't know what they're planning on doing with him, but I'm pretty sure he'll have a important part in the Woodbury prison fights. Would it be he goes to prison because he's not very fond of the governor, which I think he is, um, or does he stay at Woodbury and fight and end up dying, which I think is the most likely option. Um, so yeah, they complete this experiment. It doesn't work. He wants to believe it did, but Andrea knows it doesn't. She's the one that's seen the walkers. Milton hasn't. He's really been in Woodbury since the beginning, so it hasn't really explored the new world. Um, Andrea kills him. So just kind of trying to get you learn about Milton pretty much. That was the whole thing about it. Um, then you see Maggie finally. After the governor and Merle have a discussion, they kind of bring up Andrea and the group. They're starting to get worried about what happened. See, keeping those two there, Glenn and Maggie, those two, in the town, and see how long they can do it. And is the group going to come for him? He's also questioning Merle if he's going to side with him or Daryl, his brother. So that will come later a little bit in the episode. it's gonna be very important between the Woodbury prison connection. Um, so yeah, they go back to the jail scene. I think they're shipping containers really. They look like, uh, but Maggie is getting interrogated by the governor. He's like you said, he uses his manipulative personality to kind of just um, control her pretty much, get her to spill the beans of where they are, how many people are in the group. Um, he proceeds to try to make her think that he's going to assault her. You know what that means, not physically, like punch punch, but you older folks know what I mean. Uh, he puts her in a position of the assault, and he doesn't do it. He, which I'll explain when that scene comes, and I'll explain why the whole meaning behind that. But um, Rick and the rescue group end up getting stuck in which I believe is the red zone. Um, you actually find out later in the episode that the prison is part of the red zone, and it's a key part in making them think what this group can do. So they, like I said, they're probably in the red zone. They get caught with a lot of walkers around. They end up at this um, shed thing type of, you know, lake house. There's a lake behind it, so that's a lake house. Um, but there's a guy in there. I don't know how he lived. There's like no food or anything, but he's sleeping. Uh, he is a crazy man. He thinks that, you know, the zombie apocalypse doesn't exist or anything. Um, Michonne ended up killing him. He tries to run out, kills her. They end up feeding him to walkers to get their escape. Um, very interesting scene. It's probably another thing showing that Michonne is committed to the group and she knows what she's doing. So kind of a, you know, it shows how they got to escape the lake house, of course. Uh, but yeah, they go back to the Milton's thing. Milton finds out. He thinks it happened, but Andre knows it doesn't kill her. I said that earlier. Kill her. Kill him. Um, just that scenes were just to explain what Milton is about, pretty much. We'll learn about it more when it comes around to being next season. Well, next mid-season, whatever. I'm looking at the recap. But yeah, Merle brings Maggie into Glenn's room after the people thought that she would get raped. I saw a lot of the forums hoping they wouldn't do it, but rape. I mean assault, whatever. Um, he used that as a instead of literally, he used a figurative. He's showing it. He has the power, and he's not afraid to use it, and he will go to the limits to use games with it, thinking that he will do that, but he backs off, and gives her that sense of hope that it won't happen. Um, when Maggie comes in the room topless, of course, Glenn knows what happened, but is Maggie gonna tell him? Who knows? I'm pretty sure she will. I'm pretty sure they won't show it, so nothing big behind not showing that. And then Governor getting impatient, puts the gun up to Glenn, and you actually see Glenn move up to the gun, so showing once again he's transforming to he will die for the group. Um, when he was in Atlanta, he might have not. He risked his life by doing runs, but he was very worrisome about it. Now he's willing to put himself in front of the group and protect them and Maggie. So he right when that happens, Maggie tells him prison there's 10 people and they got the information they wanted. Um, Back at the apartment, uh, the governor questions um, Merle's his loyalty again. Is he going to be with his brother or not? And you see Merle kind of like, I'm going to be with you. But I'm really getting this feeling that he's going to go with Daryl. Comic book spoilers, go skip a 10, 20, 30 seconds ahead. I think he'll play the role of Alice or Martinez when they go to the prison with the prison group and they succeed, you can say, from Woodbury. I think that's what he can be part of. Will he live? I don't think so. After the interrogation thing, Glenn's gonna have he's gonna have some beef with him. Rick might. It's gonna be very interesting the next 9 episodes on how that plans out, how Daryl will be affected by it, how um, how the group will handle it. So, but yeah, Merle ends up saying, "Yeah, I'm loyal to your group." Uh, but early in the episode, you saw he kind of was he's really bitter. He's really starting to get on his nerves that he won't let him look for his brother. Now he knows where he is. So, but the governor does end up Merle Martinez to scope out the prison, um, which could be interesting, knowing that Rick and the group are on their way to Woodbury, which they end up right now. They end up right in front of the gates of Woodbury, and this really great music they played. It's kind of sound like a mechanical heartbeat. Um, Showing it's hyping up next episode. Episode is the mid-season finale, so there's gonna be something big, and that music just is starting to set the tone that there's an oncoming battle, there's an oncoming event that will affect both groups. Maybe one, maybe another one. You don't. There's a looming battle where you're gonna see next episode. You know that you're gonna see the first encounter between Woodbury and the prison, and it's gonna be a very important one to show who is the better group and who better get ready. Um, but you see inside the Woodbury, Andrea is still with Governor. Um, tells her about Milton, and she actually goes to hug the governor while this mechanical heartbeat music is playing. The governor knows what's happening. She doesn't. She doesn't know that the group she was with is alive and they are coming to Woodbury. They don't know she's there. They think she's dead. Um, so that was the episode. For now, I'm actually going to the predictions for episode 8 and some news, some little spoilers for episode 8. So if you don't want to, if you're a person that doesn't watch the previews or kind of, doesn't just shuts down everything until the next episode, um, you can click out the video now. I'm going to spend the next couple minutes talking about episode 8 and I think what happens. So if you're one of those people that wants to shut everything off for that until the next episode comes out, it is your time to leave, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Links are below. Um, so now into episode 8, we know that there's going to be a battle. You know that they're going to in the prison. If you watch Talking Dead, you see Michonne with Penny. Um, Finally find out who she is. Um, she's actually in this apartment, so it leads me to speculate that the comic book scene between her and the governor and her revenge. She Her character is different in the TV show than the comic books on what happened between her and the governor. She knows the governor can't be trusted, but in the comic books, the governor kind of, messes with her, assaults her, like everybody thought would happen to Maggie. So that that was pretty much, we know that they're inside now. You know they're gonna make it inside. I think they get away with Maggie and Glenn. What's interesting is Andrea said in the preview after the episode that she saw them. Um, the governor knows that that's the group. Um, there's so many branches. There's a tree, and there's so many branches that can affect each other. Andrea knows that the group. Does she turn on the governor? Her and the governor, have something. Does she stick with the governor and kill the group that she lived with for almost a year? I don't want to say almost a year, actually. I'm not sure the time frame, but she was with that group for a while and saw her friends die. Um, You also find out that Daryl finds out Merle's there. Another little branch. What happens between them two? Does Daryl maybe go to Woodbury? You know, I don't know. Also, it's been confirmed that Tyrese from the comic books will show up this episode. They didn't give up much information, but they said he'd be part of Woodbury. I'm not. That's unconfirmed. I'm not sure they're gonna play him in, but it's gonna be very interesting finding out about him next episode. Um, he's gonna be key in the prison arc because he's the Daryl of the comic books pretty much. So him showing up, I don't think they'll kill Daryl off since he's showing up, but I I don't want it to show. I think they won't because they need that fan base. He's got a very big fan base, so I think Tyrese, he'll fin he'll be like a friend to Rick. Daryl's friends like they could talk their problems out, but Tyrese can be that friend. He could be like a Herschel, but you know he, they could go on missions together. Herschel's kind of missing half his leg, um, so yeah, predictions for next week's episode, mid-season finale. Unfortunately, um, Maggie and Glenn are saved. A couple people die. Woodbury, there's gonna be a couple human deaths. Um, just, I think walkers might affect to get into Woodbury. I think there's gonna be a triple threat. There's gonna be the governor, well, not the governor. There's gonna be zombies and Rick's group. Um, so it's gonna be a handicap pretty much. It's gonna be Woodbury versus zombies and Rick's group, who are more outfitted, and zombies they're gonna overrun the place possibly. So it's gonna be very interesting how they save Glenn and Maggie. Does Rick and see Andrea or the group? Do they see Merle? Do they get face to face with him? It's a very it's a very foggy scene. You don't know what's gonna happen. Um, but that is it for I almost said is this is that is it for the review. I hope you guys enjoyed. All the links are below. Um, Next week is the mid-season finale. There might be a long video for that one. There's gonna be a lot of questions. I might do a two-parter for that one, seeing that it's mid-season finale. I'll kind of explain my plans next week on the little hiatus because it comes back February, so we got this, December, January. I think it comes back early February. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you next Sunday for the last episode of the mid-season. Um, uh, Links below. Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Tweet me questions, comment below on any questions of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I've said about 34 times, and I will see you next Sunday for my Walking Dead review. So have fun watching it, and see you next week.